So today
Just
in
like
the little studio here, we have a guy with a little bit of a beard and a gun on his head, and he's a bit of the talk of the town at the moment. I think everybody keeps driving by the old Bistro by the Sea, and they say, "What is that over there?" It looks like they're building a hotel with the amount of dump trucks, trailers, tractors, mulch, wood, everything going on. So what the heck are you doing now?
What in the heck are we doing now? We had the opportunity to take down the old Bistro by the Sea building, and we are putting a nice steakhouse there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Is it going to be one of those life-changing experiences when I come in to eat one of your steaks?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really hope so.
So you guys got the building, kind of acquired the building. Mm-hmm. When was this? Last year almost, right?
Yeah. So it was like May.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was like right around May we did the deal and just kind of got to work, and one thing led to another. I didn't really have any expectation going in. I thought we were just going to go in there and do a little bit of paint and some new carpet and kind of pick up where Libby and Tim left off. And we got in there and we just kind of saw the potential and the need for a little bit more of a freshening up. So it got a little more involved, and it's taken a little longer. But I kind of carried the mindset through the summer that I didn't want that to like monopolize my summer time.
Yeah, it would have.
And it would have. And it kind of did if I would have let it. But, so we were trying to be intentional about, still going to the beach.
Right.
One day a week or, and at that point.
Having a life.
Having a life. Well, and the Merrill estate over on the beach was still busy.
Right.
So like we were having to commit to the weddings and I was still cooking on the weekends for the events. So, there was some days or some weeks that we only were at the bistro like 2 or 3 days that week.
Very little.
Because we had to keep our other balls in the air. And I originally had an October time frame to open, which was...
That was pretty unrealistic.
That
was a little bit unrealistic.
Yeah, that was
buddy.
a swing and a big miss. But I mean, in May, that's 5 months, right?
Yeah.
So I'm
right.
like, well,
like 6 months I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then, my brother is a awesome woodworker, and every time I had an idea, he's like, yeah, I can do that. And it was just...
Yes. So I have to say, like Kevin, we used to go to the bistro all the time, and knowing what it used to look like, and we went in there. I'm sure you've done even more since, but I think about 2 weeks ago we went into the place to look at it, and it doesn't
cool.
It doesn't even look like the old place. It's so much better. You're right. Your brother's done an incredible job with the woodwork, the trim, the chandeliers, the bars, the behind the bars, the lighting,
all the detail.
The floors are different. The walls are different.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. We were buying kind of raw oak from Atlantic Veneer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was like 3-sided.
I didn't even know
finish.
you could do that.
Yeah, so you can go to the backside of, and they have all kinds of. A lot of boat builders buy their stuff there.
No way.
And they had these big like pallets of 3-sided finish. So he was buying it, bringing it back, and he was having to run it through a planer to get everything the same thickness.
Oh my gosh!
Running it through a table saw to get everything like trued up, and then he was having to rip the width of the raw board that he wanted. Then he was running it through a table router to put the profile edge, and then he was having to cut it it was a lot. So. But you can tell when you walk in kind of the detail. So, but
yeah, what is your overall theme? There's a lot of rumors going around town of the design and the look and all that other stuff. What is your overall theme and what you're trying to get out of this restaurant and how you wanted to feel and be when people walk through that door?
Yeah, so we just kind of wanted to do something. There really wasn't like a comparison, or we're trying to be better than, or we want to be like
your own space.
Right.
You're looking for your own space.
It was. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he was like, "Look, man, this is like you're one of one. That's not for what it is." So like, traditional kind of higher end steak houses have like a format, and we all kind of know what those formats are, right? Like Ruth Chris, Morton's, like that elevated type experience where you order a side of asparagus and you get a whole bundle.
Yeah.
Order mashed potatoes and they back up the dump truck and dump it on the table.
So you're gonna be like dropping the salt off your elbow.
Yeah. So we wanted to kind of like
beard.
Unapologetically like just go higher end because
why not?
Why not? And there's just
like
the ingredients are out there, and and we want I think that a lot of people in this community know how I cook. They know what we cook, kind of our style. They have an expectation and
they expect an experience, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have an understanding. So like I know that like our food's going to be solid, and I want to really focus on like the service component here, and really do what feels right and what feels good. But I think that There was a point in my life when I was more in the kitchen, and it was about, it was about the food, but it was about kind of no nonsense and just kind of being that hard-nosed chef that you kind of see on TV.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've kind of softened into a little more of like, I want a well-run business, and I want people that spend their hard-earned money in our business to like experience something and have an experience and it be more than just like a transaction.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
So let me ask you about this. There's a lot of rumors. You guys are not the bistro, right? You're not Bistro by the Sea. No. It's Prime Bistro.
Not the same recipe.
There's probably gonna be a lot of people that are going to come in and like, hey man, have you got this? I remember the old menu and things like that to kind of disperse some of those maybe misconceived conceptions of what it is.
Yeah.
Will there be a little bit of that, or is it just like this? It's different, right?
Not really.
So the whole thing is going to be a different feel, right?
So we picked Prime Bistro. Prime is kind of prime. The word prime is it's describes high end.
Yeah, high end meat
things, and it's just like kind of like next level, like top tier. And then I did keep Bistro because it was Bistro by the Sea, and it's just there's a familiarity to that, and people like understand like what it is, and I kind of would be silly not to, and it's just kind of like a nod to what it was, but we're very much different. We will have one of Tim's sauces that he had on his menu that I just had the recipe for, and
thanks Tim.
I didn't get it from him. I found it.
I was about to say we probably found it in one of those boxes in the red room.
Yeah,
back
exactly.
There.
But and I've been asked that a lot. I'm not trying to be like anybody. We're just going to do our own thing.
Cool.
I've had multiple people ask me. They love the almond chicken. They love the prime rib. They love the bread. They love the she crab. They love. It was like all these things, and I was like, Tim and Libby are in Nevada. Like they're not here.
Yeah,
like
it's
call
a different
them,
world, different game, different restaurant altogether. What are some of the? If you can talk about it, like, do you have the menu items kind of?
I was literally going to ask that. Like, what inspired your recipes and what kind of things?
So like I wanted to like stick to like tried and true, like all-star kind of list. Like I feel like Circa for us is more of our creative outlet where we can, do multiple touches on a plate and do things a little bit different. This is definitely going to be more classic, right? So like we're going to have shrimp cocktail on the menu. Like there's nothing crazy about shrimp cocktail, but we're going to do it like really well. We're going to pay attention to like, the shrimp that we're buying and how we're, cooking them and, how they're just prepared, right?
Yep.
Another thing on app menu is going to be an Oysters Rockefeller. But, so we're doing our take on that.
Right.
But like Oysters Rockefeller in and of itself is not anything that's like new.
Yeah.
But it'll be like, we're going to be using some Induja, like some special sausage and like some other things to just elevate it some.
Take it up a notch.
Yeah,
How about your steaks, man?
Yeah, man. So we're going to be doing like
you got a name called Prime Bistro.
Yeah,
like
so we're going to be doing a lot of Prime.
Steaks. Like when you say, and educate the world a little bit on Prime, right? So if I go to my grocery store, again, this is the novice guy. Like if I go through the thing, you have Angus beef is the price, and then I look over here and they like have Prime, right? So even in my little world, I understand that Prime is a higher quality cut of meat.
Sure.
So some of those, I know you're talking about dry age and some other things that you guys might have. Talk a little bit about kind of like the specialty meats or things like that you're probably going to have there.
Yeah, so like you can get kind of nerdy on this stuff, but we're going to be using Prime from so Prime is a grade.
Yep.
And we're going to be working with a ranch from South Dakota.
Nice.
Cool.
So everything's going to be like corn-fed, which, you got grass-fed, corn-fed. I like corn-fed.
Corn-fed tends to be a little grainier, fattier, right? Like it just has more
flavor.
marbling.
It is, and I like the corn-fed stuff.
Yeah.
So, and that's who Social Q uses also. It's called Dimcoda Farms, and they're out there in Aberdeen, South Dakota. And then we're also going to be using CAB, Certified Angus Beef. I'm sure you guys have like seen those little cows.
Cab, is that what it like?
Yeah, cab, CAB.
No, I've heard like high end things from that.
Yeah, and they do a really good job too. And
that's kind of like a Wagyu, like not a Wagyu base, but like that's just beneath Wagyu, right?
So Wagyu is a different,
it's a whole different animal and stuff too.
And you got some guys over that are in the States now that are taking these. So you got like the Japanese, like the Kobe beef over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're taking and they're crossbreeding these animals, and they're creating this kind of American style of Wagyu, which is kind of like a half breed.
Yeah.
There are some people in Australia that are doing mom and dad making full on like really delicious stuff that we can get our hands on a little bit. But Wagyu is like so different, man.
It is.
It's not even like a meat texture, really. At the end of the day, it's kind of like a fat thing with some meat in it.
That's
so,
right.
So you're doing CAB,
CAB. Yeah, so that's a certified Angus beef. It's like it's the way that it grades. It's a program. It's like a black Angus. It's like the upper 2/3 of like it's like the best of the best from that category, and then and that grades out too to different things. So
I'm getting hungry.
Well, it's just interesting, man, because it's like so hard to like really tell the difference until you can eat the stuff like side by side.
Right.
Yeah.
And we went up to Greensboro to the test kitchen and had, our CAB selections, our prime selections. We had some Wagyu up there as well. And, when you start eating the meat like side by side is like when you're like, okay,
oh, wow, you can tell the difference. Yeah.
It's like if you just get like a CAB filet at a restaurant, like it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Or if you had,
But when you're putting the menu together, it's cool to put all the meats beside each other because you're going for a certain like flavor profile, right? Too, so, and especially what you think in the back of your mind you want to do with the meat and stuff like that.
And we're looking at price point balance too, because some of the prime things just can really just get away from you. And as well as like when you start looking at like this Kobe and like the Wagyu, we brought some Wagyu into Circa a couple months ago, and we did a little flat iron, but. I mean, like an 8-ounce steak, like my cost on that was like $40.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And it's like
crazy.
you overcook one, and then the guest sends it back, and you're like, well, there goes our night.
I didn't like that because that's a high probability for something like Wagyu is like if no one's ever had it before, but they want to try it, they may not actually like the acquired taste that Wagyu is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you got the dry age stuff. So, we're Southern Foods is dry aging some of our meat, and we're going to look to bring that program in house like as soon as possible. But that takes on this delicious, like kind of nutty flavor that's very distinct and different.
It is different for sure
from just kind of regular like wet aged beef. So
I look forward to being able to do that in a restaurant. Like I'm a novice here, but like Lowe's down in 24, they do the dry aged every now and then, the dry aged prime.
Yeah,
and it has just a different profile when you eat it. Like you eat
completely different.
And it's so good.
Yeah.
It's good.
It is good. Like
it's hard to explain what
it is.
Good.
You try it.
But even the fibers in the meat's a little different and stuff. So like I look forward to getting that from someone that knows how to prep it and cook it proper.
Yeah, and it's easy to overcook that stuff too.
Yeah,
it cooks
because it doesn't have all the.
But so a big part of the menu will be the steaks, and then we're going to be using like the Marshallburg Farm caviar. Will be on the menu, which is going to be neat. And I was talking to one of our managers today. I was like, that's like something that I just don't want to put on the menu and highlight as local. It's like more than local.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, just don't dismiss that as local. It's like world renowned, like Marshallburg Farms. Like, it's really special. And we went down there and visited with Leanne and her dad and her husband and all that, and got we did a tour, and we're going to be using their stuff at the restaurant.
That's cool. How are you going to be cooking this stuff? I know this. I haven't talked to you a little about this and some of that excitement on some of the steaks. I'm sure you're different techniques and so forth, but you are going to be cooking them in some of the steaks at least on. I know a grill. You're kind of.
Yeah. So it's going to be like a wood fire grill.
Yeah.
So we'll probably like use some charcoal and wood. No gas. So
that's a big deal for flavor as well for steaks.
I think so. If you guys remember. Chef's 105, Andy he used to cook on a Aztec. I'm pretty sure that's what that was, and I have that same grill, not his grill, but I have the same brand,
same type. Yeah.
And I mean, if you guys remember, like chefs, like when you walked in, like that aroma from all that wood was just like it was sexy.
It smells so good.
Oh yeah. It. So so it'll all be wood fired. We're doing some really fun desserts. We have some charcuterie that we're not making it. We sourced it from Georgia. It's going to be delicious.
Sorry, Nancy, I'm talking a lot. I heard that you might have a pretty baller pastry chef kind of on staff. I've heard.
We don't like desserts now. Come on.
Yeah, I've heard that you have.
My sister.
Yes, I heard that you have coerced someone to make you stuff.
Does such good
she's
work.
incredible.
I saw her today.
She's crazy high demand. But somehow that's what I've heard. Is this true?
Yeah, so Kira's very, very talented.
She is.
She's a mother of 3 little girls, and she's busy, and they give her a run for her money. I was trying to get her on full time. She still serves at Circa, and she's grown so much just in her baking and her abilities. There was a moment, not even that long ago, where I think she was at this like crossroads with confidence because she's never been to like culinary school.
Mm-hmm.
And I know she wants to go. Or she thought she wants to go, wanted to go. I'm like, Kira, like what you're doing is like far exceeding what they're learning. Like
Absolutely.
You've already passed what you're going to learn there, young lady.
Right, man. So like
you could be teaching the class.
Yeah, I mean, so she's really like dialed in like cakes, wedding cakes. She's dialed in, like French macaroons, things like that. I mean, she's not.
Oh gosh, Josh's favorite.
So can we say that the dessert menu is going to be pretty awesome at Prime?
She's going to be helping really kind of craft some of this. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I want her in there full time, but she's not. But she's going to be heavily influenced on the menu for sure.
So what everybody's going to want to know is that when's it happening? When's this going to go down? No hard dates, but like what can people expect?
So we're there, man. You know, I have my ABC license. We've been buying alcohol. On Wednesday we got our food permit, like from the health department, so we can open. It's on us. Like literally, it's on us. So we're doing trainings this weekend, tomorrow, Saturday, starting for wine training, and then basically, I've already passed my date by like so much. I'm not in a hurry to open poorly.
Right, agree.
So
for sure.
There's still going to be a learning curve, at least
First impressions.
for a few days, for months, weeks. So we'll get open when we're ready. So I'm really shooting for like the first week of February.
That's awesome.
That's our target.
That's a couple of weeks.
You did say wine training.
Wine training tomorrow.
Wine training.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing wine training, that's probably important with your restaurant, right?
Yeah,
Is there something
important.
unique,
I've heard
unique with that? Is there going to be anything cool?
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a lot of wine. Sonia, who's our beverage director, has put together a really awesome list. She's worked with Jessica from Empire and
Jessica.
Amy and some of the other wine groups too. But Jessica's been real helpful in steering this. And
Joel was talking about how you're going to be serving that. It'll allow people to do some like high-end tastings without having to buy a whole bottle.
Yeah, so like we
That's
invested
exciting.
in these Napa machines, Napa technology, and these machines are like $6,000 a piece, and we bought 3 of them, and they each hold 4 bottles, so we'll have 12 options, and they will allow us to pour high-end wine
by glass.
Yeah, by the glass for so the idea of the machine is that it holds the wine for like 60 days.
Oh, nice.
So what it does is it has this argon system hooked up to it, kind of like I'm sure you've seen the home versions. It's a little bit bigger. But when you put argon in the bottle, it
preserves it, right?
Yeah, it preserves it. It blankets it as opposed to the oxygen, which will cause it to oxidize.
Right.
So we get 60 days. So we're going to be pouring Caymus by the glass, which you don't typically see, because when you do that, you run the risk of it's sitting in
the whole bottle
right.
goes to waste.
Yeah, that's expensive.
So we're going to be able to have all kinds of really high-end wine by the glass that you don't typically get to see at a lot of other places.
That's great.
So we're excited for that. And then, they've been able to, procure a bunch of other really allocated type wines.
Mm-hmm.
We are, just like everybody else, fighting for the good bourbon that comes into town. There's a lot of allocated stuff that we don't really get a shot at.
Yeah.
I don't know where it goes, but it goes somewhere. Somebody's getting the allocated stuff. I wish it was me. But the experience, man, it's going to be nice. It's going to be a really nice restaurant. We were really looking to create this coastal vibe with touches of modern, but kind of coupled with this just kind of some old world type feel a little bit. Some
classic steakhouse, man.
Man.
Classic steakhouse,
It
elevated, top of the line meats, top of the line sides, top of the line desserts.
Yeah.
Just something that's not. There's some good steakhouses in town, but I think the experience you're going to get there is definitely going to be something that's just different.
It's going to be different, and so much of what we're doing too, man, is really mindset and the team that you have, executing it, right?
Yep.
At the end of the day, steak is steak, and we see this in you guys are business owners, I'm a business owner, so much of what happens or doesn't happen is mindset.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, it really is. And, it's what you want. It's what you want to, put your energy behind. It's, what you want to drive. How do you want to drive this? And, just kind of in the meetings with the leadership team, it's really been, look, I opened Circa when I was 28. I'm 41. When I opened Circa at 28, it was literally, about survival and, just getting a business off the ground.
Sure.
Fast forward.
And it was really new for this area. Nobody was doing tapas then.
That's right.
On our stand of things, we get to help you do some promotional videos for this and some photography for it, I believe, next week-ish. And to think back when Clarke had Circa 81, I used to film some of his food on a homemade roller skate.
It was awesome.
That's true.
Yeah.
I used a homemade roller skate
That's
as a
true.
slider, and here we are. What? How many years later? And this guy's
2010,
2010,
2022, 3.
all the
13,
businesses,
14.
all the things that happened between then and
It's
now.
like
and
at
now
least
we're-
14,
now it's
15
Prime
This will be our
Bistro.
14th Valentine's Day at Circa. So it's been
Yeah, it's 14
been
years.
Cool. Yeah. We've grown a lot. You know, we've
I
built.
don't do. I hate I don't do Valentine's Day dinners. It's the worst in a restaurant, man.
It's pretty bad.
Like whenever you do it, like every time I do it,
He's just
it's
mad because every time
terrible.
we've gone out, they've run out of the
Special,
specials, and then
whatever.
you get forced
Like,
to order something
I
you don't
will
really
do-
want, and it's usually nasty.
Dude, I
Just
do the
religious
Valentine's.
basis,
I do the Valentine's Day dinner after Valentine's or before, but I will never do it on Valentine's. Like we
We've done
struck
too
out
many
like
of 'em.
so many years in a row. I'm like never again.
It became like it was annual, like it was bad,
Like,
bad,
what are we
bad.
doing? What are we
Like, all
doing?
right, we're done. This is like
funny.
4th year in a row now. It's
funny.
not worked out.
That's just my experience. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Cool.
coming up. Well, we're going to be tested because
it's happening.
You will be tested. However, well, we probably won't be here, but that would have been. We would have given you all a shot.
so we we'll be reservation heavy. We have a big bar.
Oh, that's a good
We'll
point.
be doing like walk-ins at the bar,
Yeah.
but we will be reservation heavy. And with that, we have the ability to like control things a little bit.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying we're reservations only, but I would definitely suggest them. And really, like
So
not.
you are accepting reservations. A lot of people don't. So
When,
that's nice
when do
that
you
you
think?
have that.
When do you think when will that phone number go live, and when will people be able to start doing all
They're
that?
making them now, bud. They're like calling my
so-
phone. They're emailing Facebook. Like,
So if you want, if they see this and they want to go and get on your doll for the reservation, do you have a number that you
I
want
don't
to put
know.
there?
We do, but I don't know it. That's
Okay.
how bad it is. Hey,
We'll put it in the description.
yeah, like it's
put it in
kind of
the
fun. Like I
description.
could say, like call my people because
Call my people. I have no clue.
Call my people. They'll call your people.
Yeah, like I don't like. Yeah, man, it's
That's
like
cool.
it's been cool to like watch the team, build the team, see the team grow. We've had a lot of
That's
like key
awesome.
players. It is. It's been really fun.
You have a great team, I have to say.
We have a
Like
good
they
team.
really, really
and they're
work for the brand.
really buying into like what I want to do. Like kind of what I was saying was like, I was 28 when I opened Circa, and I'm 41 now. And Circa was about survival, and opening this restaurant is like I
Different.
want to do it, and I'm driving it, and I'm making it the way that I want it, and
Isn't
I'm
that
like
awesome?
calling the shots, and
Yeah.
I have a budget to like
Do that.
do certain things, and I didn't have that budget before, so we're being like, yeah, man, we've spent like just a lot of money on glass,
Yeah.
like and chandeliers, like things I never would have thought I would spend
Yeah,
$30,000
but
on.
you're
That's
doing it because you
amazing.
love it. You know the experience people are going to get. You don't
man.
for you don't have to compromise this way around.
Yeah.
And I think the community is going to see it, experience it, and they're
Well,
going
I
to
hope-
support you in it.
I hope they, yeah, man. I just, I say that like this is one thing that we talk about when we have our meetings. Like when people drive around for lunch or dinner or breakfast or whatever they're going to eat, like they literally have money in their pocket and they're driving around, and it's like, where do you want to eat? Where do you want to eat? Where do you want to eat? And it's like when they pick us, it's like a win. It's a small win, and when we got to make sure that like we celebrate that win with them when they come in, and we got to make sure
sure.
that we give them what they want. I mean, they have the ability to choose where they want to spend their money in Morehead City or beyond, like every day.
Yep.
So we have to win. We have to be consistent. We have to be there for them. And this restaurant is going to be different, man. It's going to be a different experience because there's going to be a lot of intentionality behind everything we do.
Yeah.
Like from like the water to the bread to the like everything, to the main to when you leave. We went and I got some pashminas like for the girls like that we're gonna like stock and store. Like you always get that one table like and your like wife or whoever like is sitting there and the air conditioner's blowing on her.
That's
She's like
so
cold.
nice. That's me all the time.
Well, it's like being thoughtful and like thinking about like
Absolutely.
the entire experience. Like
Oh,
you
that's
can't
awesome.
enjoy your steak because you're sitting
You're
there like,
freezing.
You're
shivering,
freezing, yeah.
or you got a sunburn and you're shivering and it's really not that cold, but you're cold, or vice
level
versa.
up.
Like we have a whole bucket full of like umbrellas, right? Like if you come in and it's not raining, you're leaving and it's raining, like take an umbrella, like bring it back next time or just use it
Yeah.
the rest of your life. I don't know. So it's like just thought provoking things. It's really like this whole like
That's cool, dude.
thought and vision of like
I
just
love
true
that.
hospitality and really just making people feel that feeling when they are with us.
That's cool.
I've eaten multiple Michelin star restaurants multiple times, and like they're just like that feeling when you leave, man, of service and
You're
what
like, I wanna
you've
go
got
back.
is just so awesome.
wanna
It's
go
just
back.
like there's nothing like it. And it doesn't always have to come from like a high end place.
No.
Like if you go and get something that like
You can tell when people love what they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can tell when people are passionate about their food, their restaurant, their service, or whatever. You can always tell.
You can. And
always tell.
it creates that experience that you're just like, that's awesome. And I say people like, you can go and get like, you can go to a Mexican restaurant and spend $60, which isn't that much money to eat out. and feel like, you know, your food was cold, there's a hair in it, or your order was wrong, the queso was like not hot,
Yeah.
the chips were stale,
lumpy.
there's onions on your taco and you didn't ask for it, so now you're mad, but you only
Yeah.
spent $60. You know, and then there's instances where you go out to eat with you know, a couple friends and you spend $500 and you leave and you're like, that was awesome. Like
Yeah.
I would have spent $700 to have that same experience. So like there's value in that,
Yeah.
but there wasn't value on the other example. So it's
Right.
like value isn't always about money.
Yeah.
And people
about
need
the
to realize
experience.
that. It's just about the whole thing. It's like
It's about the
so
experience.
that's really kind of what we're working at here
Sure.
at Prime to
You need a birthday brownie.
create. I told my sister today, I saw her, she stopped by, I was like, I was telling her some of the dessert items. I was like, you're responsible for this. And she's kind of like, she just agrees with me. And she's like, okay. And I was like, I just want a big chocolate cake. She's like, well, what kind of chocolate? I was like, just a big chocolate cake.
chocolate
Like,
cake.
A big one.
I got a funny story. Laz and I were in Florida for spring break this past year, 22. And Noah was back at the room, and we got chocolate cake to go. And it was after we already like tabbed out.
Yeah.
And our bill was stupid expensive already. We were with some friends. And we got this chocolate cake, and we just thought it was going to be this little slice. It was literally a half of a chocolate cake. The to-go box, a full-size 9-inch to-go box, would not even
Oh my
like
gosh.
shut.
Holy
They had to like shut it and then wrap it in plastic wrap. And
So
I
it
think we
doesn't
weighed like
open up.
3 pounds. It was $35.
Oh my god.
And it was like after we had already like tabbed out. I got a picture of it.
That's
It's hilarious. It was
crazy.
for Noah. Like,
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
so I was like, we got to have chocolate cake.
Well, Clarke, man, thanks for coming in, dude. I'm excited about the restaurant. We can't wait to go next
We
week and
cannot
film
wait.
it, and
Yeah.
and hopefully we do you justice.
Me too.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know you are.
but
I hope we could do ourselves justice.
it's just so awesome to see you continue to do things in the community, keep striving, keep going, never settling. I think that's a big thing about being successful in life is just never settling and keep challenging yourself to up and keep going and keep going.
Yeah, man.
and
I
going.
think
So,
this just gets to a point. It's really, I'll tell
That's
you what's
good.
really neat, man, is like when you get to a point and you can do things because you want to,
yeah,
and you don't feel like you have to.
Yeah.
You know, and it's I'm not saying that I've made it or I'm there or any of that, but like I feel like, you know, Circa was like a big test for like me and my family and Liza and my wife and like all of us, and you know, people have been so like gracious and just supported it for so long, and I feel like Circa's still a relevant restaurant 14
Oh,
years
totally
absolutely.
is.
and that's pretty cool because I do feel like every business has a shelf life. Some of them are, you know, 100 years, some of them are 50, some are 10, some are 2.
You don't know when they're going to burn
You know,
out.
and you know, everything that we're doing is still really relevant, and you know, we're excited for that. But yeah, it's really neat when you can like be intentional and do things because you want to.
Well, I'll say
Yeah.
that I didn't like shrimp and grits until I ate your shrimp and grits. And I'm telling you that honestly. You can ask him. I
Yeah.
wasn't a shrimp and grit person.
Yeah.
Every time I go, even if I'm not hungry, I order it and eat 2 bites.
That's cool.
funny.
So a couple weeks you'll be open.
Yeah.
So everybody out there, go support Clarke. Go support Prime Bistro.
Prime Bistro.
It's happening. It's going to be an
Excited.
experience, and we
Yeah.
can't wait to eat the most baller, biggest steak I can buy.
There you go.
So
Yeah, we're gonna do a
We
tomahawk.
have to get on the
We
list,
got a big
Josh.
old-
We have
We'll
to
get
make
on
a
the list.
reservation.
We better call.
We
Call
yeah,
for-
so
call
we're right
for-
next to Taco Bell in
Yeah.
Moorhead, right at the foot of the Hampton Inn. So if you
Yeah.
guys are looking for us, we're right in the middle of town.
Yep.
Go
We
see
have a
it.
nice big bar, plenty to drink.
Love it.
So we're excited. It'll be soon.
All right.
Yep.
See you
Thanks for
later.
coming
Thank
in.
you.
Thanks for coming in.
Hmm.
Peace.